This is kind of like a cheat first question to ask somebody, but what's a question you hate being asked in interviews, and what's a question you wish you were asked more?
Oh my gosh, that's probably one of the questions that I hate. It's such a like on the spot question. I don't know how to answer that. Oof. I mean, I feel like are you aware, like, do you know of wrestling or anything?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big time wrestling fan.
Okay, so I hate the Mount Rushmore questions. I hate
Yeah.
those. Like who's your Mount Rushmore? Like who's your next
Like your
like
dream opponent and all
yeah, like
that stuff.
questions like those. And I wish people asked more about um maybe more of like my upbringing and how I got into wrestling, but I do feel like that is asked quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that.
Well, get back to me if you come up with an answer. But that's actually funny because I was looking up past interviews because I want to make sure to not repeat things so it's not boring for you as well. And I saw you mention that it was actually your parents that suggested that you become a professional wrestler, which is kind of like the reverse of how I feel like people usually like, okay, I'm going to become a wrestler, and then they're like, uh, mom, dad, like
Right,
become a
right.
wrestler. But it was actually your parents that suggested you become a wrestler. Like, can you tell the story behind that how that happened?
Yeah. So it was actually more so my mom. So we were kind of just watching TV one night, scrolling through the channels. Friday Night SmackDown pops on the screen, and it's Charlotte Flair. And immediately my mom's like, that looks like something you could totally do. Just because I was a gymnast at the time, like,
Right.
Charlotte's very athletic. And my mom was just like, that's, you could easily do that. Like, that's something that's would probably become like very, very easy for you. But I didn't immediately pursue it. I was still a gymnast at the time, and then when I quit gymnastics, I kind of wanted to stay like competitive or like do something that kind of, still pushed me competitively. So I decided to take up wrestling. And I reached out to Greg Gagne, who is also, a Minnesota native, and he agreed to train me. And eventually, he reached out and got me a tryout, and here we are.
That's awesome. And it just and your career kind of just like went from 0 to 100, didn't it? It just kind of like you got into wrestling, and now just I mean, handful of years later, you're already one of the faces of the women's division.
Yeah, everything happened so quickly for me. I feel like I was thrown on TV immediately. It was the NXT 2.0 era when I came in, and it had just changed, so they were looking for new faces, and I was one of them, and I tried to get as ready as possible, and because of that I kind of got better on TV. Like you could literally like witness me getting better like live on TV. So there was a lot of pressure there. But here we are. I made it.
You made it. You're there. You're gonna be on people's Mount Rushmore someday. When people asking
Exactly.
other people that question, you'll be on their Mount Rushmore someday. And obviously you've made a huge connection with the fans. That moment in Australia had to have been super special for you with the whole crowd just going absolutely crazy. What is your, because you guys are always interacting, signing stuff, and just constantly interacting with fans. Like, what is like the funniest interaction that you've had with a fan recently?
So I think I was at like a Fanatic signing or something like that. Oh no, I was at a WrestleMania. I was at a WrestleMania signing, and some guy had me sign his bicep. And then the following day, he came back to my booth, and he had gotten it tattooed on his
Oh
bicep.
God.
And it was like it was a big signature.
Yeah.
So that's pretty insane.
Yeah, that has to be surreal, right? Like just the fact
Yeah.
that like I'm still a regular person and this guy has my signature tattooed on his
Yeah,
back
it was pretty
forever.
crazy. He had Sasha Banks on the other one and then Tiffany Stratton on the other one.
Wow, that's good company. So when he's showing off the guns, it's Sasha and Tiffy. I
It's
love that,
crazy.
man. It's Tiffy time every day for that dude in the mirror. And you mentioned WrestleMania, and for a good couple months there, it looked like all the news was reporting that WrestleMania was going to come to US Bank Stadium here in Minneapolis. Didn't end up working out, but SummerSlam's going to be here in 2026, and there's still rumblings of WrestleMania happening in Minnesota. Is that something that you are advocating for? Does that add any pressure to you to be wrestling in front of like your friends and family when you're back at home, or how do you feel about WrestleMania possibly coming to Minneapolis?
I think it would be so amazing to have a WrestleMania in Minneapolis or SummerSlam. Definitely no pressure there. I feel like that is like a dream of mine to have a big major PLE in Minnesota and hopefully be on that card. So like I would love that. And there's actually a Friday Night SmackDown coming up here December 6th in Minneapolis, and it's my first time wrestling in front of a Minnesota crowd.
No
So
way.
I'm so excited to see like what the crowd reaction is gonna be.
Oh, they're gonna. Oh, it's gonna be a standing ovation. Come on now, you already know it's gonna be Tiffy time up in the Target Center. Everybody's gonna be going crazy.
Ooh, it gives me goosebumps. I'm so excited.
It's crazy to think about, right?
It is.
So Friday Night SmackDown just came over to the USA Network. Monday Night Raw is moving over to Netflix pretty soon here, and I think a lot of people are anticipating that it's not just gonna be Monday Night Raw, and it's going to be like some kind of like shows, like docu-series type of shows. Like I don't know if you saw Netflix's F1, like the Drive to Survive kind of show,
Mm-hmm.
all around different drivers and stuff. If they had like a WWE reality show, who are a couple of wrestlers that you think that they should follow around outside of yourself, obviously?
Ooh, I think Nia Jax, obviously my bestie.
Absolutely.
I think Chelsea Green would be a very good contender for that. Maxine Dupree,
Yeah,
Sonia Deville. Let's see, maybe Carmella. I feel like there's so many women you could put on that
right.
show, and it would be such good entertainment.
Yeah, it would be great. I was trying to think of the answer to that question myself, and I found myself like you, like, okay, this person would be good. This person,
Yeah,
there's so many different. I just think that type of show would be absolutely perfect for the WWE.
it would, and it would like showcase your women's division.
Right. And bring in a brand new audience like that F1 show. More people watch that show than actually watch the races itself.
Exactly, exactly.
And speaking of like a whole different kind of audience, I had seen when I was watching some of your past interviews that you mentioned that you think like you'd want to have an interaction with Simone Biles in the ring. You guys are both gymnasts and whatnot. She's actually coming to the Target Center on Friday, so that should be super cool to see
Oh.
her in real life. Like if there was is besides Simone Biles, is there a celebrity that comes to mind that you think of that you think would do well in WWE, like if they became a wrestler?
So I don't know if you've been watching, but Dancing with the Stars just premiered their season, and
Yeah, yeah.
there's this girl that was in the Olympics for I think it was rugby, and she's jacked. I don't know what
Oh,
her
yeah,
name is.
yeah, yeah. I've seen her before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she does like the funny TikToks and stuff. I think
Yeah.
she would be perfect for wrestling.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she would be a beast. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, she like there's like pictures of hers like stiff arming girls and stuff and like shoving them to the ground. It's crazy.
So she's badass.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good answer. I didn't even think about that at all.
I actually just thought of it.
Yeah. When you're back home in Minnesota, what are some of your favorite things to do?
I love going to the Cove in Wayzata.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love going back to Mystic Lake Casino. I used to work there actually.
No way.
Yeah.
What'd you do there?
I was a server in their restaurant, and let me tell you, they have amazing food there.
Oh, really? I've never ate there
Yeah,
before.
yeah, it's amazing. You should go there. What else? I love going on Lake Minnetonka. I'm a huge boat girl. Grew up on a boat. Obviously, I'm from Prior Lake.
Yeah, you gotta know about
So yeah, all we do is go on the
it.
lake in the summer and yeah, that's basically, my top three things I do whenever I go home.
Do you have like a favorite Minnesota sports team? The Vikings, the Wild, the Wolves? Are you into sport? Are you a sports girly at all, or not really?
Not really, but I will rep like some Vikings colors, maybe if
For
I
sure.
wrestle in Minnesota.
Yeah, you got, especially if they keep playing like they've been playing.
Exactly. Some purple and gold.
Right. What's a random talent that people wouldn't know that you have outside of wrestling and gymnastics?
A random talent. Um, that is such a hard question. I don't think I really have a random talent.
You're utilizing all of them right
Yeah,
now?
I feel like I try and
That's all you
utilize all my
got.
talents as much as possible.
That's how I feel too. Like people are like, what would you do if you didn't do radio? I'm like, I would be homeless. Like I
Yeah.
can't do anything besides be on the radio, and I can barely do that. Just a couple more questions for you because I'm sure you got a bunch of other interviews to do. What is like the hardest part you would say about being a WWE superstar and being at that top of the card like we talked about earlier?
Um, The hardest thing I would say is not letting like the little things or what people say on the internet like get to you
Yeah.
and ruin your confidence. I definitely think confidence is everything, especially on a TV screen. So just having like confidence within yourself, within your wrestling, within your promos and stuff like that, it is hard to build like on TV if you don't already, if you weren't already practicing it beforehand. Like I got on TV so quickly, I was kind of just learning as I went. So just being confident within yourself is definitely one of the hardest things I feel
Yeah.
like
And I
in
feel like
wrestling.
people think it's like easier said that like it's so easy to just ignore it. It's like no, like I bet there's just hundreds of people messaging you every day, and I would bet most of it is positive, but there's probably a lot of negative stuff in there that it's hard not to internalize, especially like you said when you're learning on the fly on national TV like you have been.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like nobody even like briefs you about it or like tells you like, hey, you're gonna get a lot of hate. So
Right.
don't listen to them. But you have to kind of just figure that out for yourself.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things that just comes with the job. No,
Yeah.
I totally feel that. Even just being a small time radio guy in Minnesota, people like tweet me and be like, "Go die," and I'm like, "Bro,
Yeah.
what? Just because I like the Timberwolves, you want me to
It's
die?" Like,
crazy.
right. There's been reports recently that, and I'm not going to make you address the reports or anything like that, about WWE possibly going to use more popular music for people's entrance songs, moving outside of like the in-house production and stuff like that. If you could have any song as your entrance song, what would you choose?
Oh, um, that is such a hard question.
I'm just hitting you with
Maybe,
the hard questions today.
yeah, maybe something by Britney Spears, like
Oh, yeah.
Piece of Me. I feel like that would be so cool to come out to, or like Oops, I Did It Again.
That would that would actually be perfect for your TV persona. I would love
I
that. We
agree.
really need to bring you out to the ring one time. Maybe WrestleMania if it comes to
Yes,
Netflix.
that'd be amazing.
Okay, last question for you, Tiffy, and I'll let you move on with your day. Who is your best friend in the locker room, and who is the most fun person to hang out with in the locker room?
Nia Jax, hands down, that girl is my entire world when I'm on the road. She is so funny. She is so just like fun to be around. She has amazing energy. She's always down to make a TikTok, to take a
Always.
picture. She takes all my pictures for me. She's amazing. I love her and she's doing amazing.
No, I love seeing that side of Nia Jax too, because obviously we see what's on TV and stuff, but then seeing her on TikTok, I feel like that's helped the audience kind of connect with her more.
Yeah.
Just seeing the dances and seeing you guys hanging out and seeing her just being a regular person.
Yeah, she's actually hilarious. She's so fun.
And so are you, Tiffany. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.